Hello everyone, Gaara here and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm gonna talk about tempo mages and how they got buffed with the previous Karazhan expansion. This is supposed to be a little bit of a rant video. Mainly I'm just gonna spark a discussion and talk about the new tempo mage. Tempo mage is a deck that got introduced with the GBG expansion with cards like Flame Waker and Unstable Port. If you guys don't remember or haven't played, then Tempo Mage was a very common deck back then. It was often played with a mech team, Snow Chugger, with Blast Mage. It was oftentimes a mix of tempo and spells, because you wanted to include cards like Flame Waker in that deck as well. It was really strong. It was even at times a tier 1 deck. But there were like a lot of strong decks that could also fight it, with all the Death Rattle minions being around, like Haunted Creepers and Shredders and stuff like that. It was a little bit weaker as soon as Standard was introduced, but it was still a viable deck. The most noticeable performance of Tempo Mage was probably Adieu's Dreamhack Summer win. Tempo Mage was already a very strong tier 2 deck at Whispers of the Old Gods. With standard, cards like Unstable Portal cycled out, and Mad Scientist, which were like core in Tempo Mage, and also Flame Cannon. But nonetheless, it was still like a decent deck, but it was not overpowered. Tempo Mage is a deck that is completely based on RNG. We can see that immediately with the two cards, the core cards of Tempo Mage, with Unstable Portal and Flame Waker. Unstable Portal is a card that for 2 mana it just gives you a random minion in the game, completely random, and that costs 2 less. It can be completely garbage, but it can also just auto-win you the game if you get something like a Cairn. 3 less. It's even 3 less. It's completely based on RNG with cards like Flame Waker. It's a random damage spread, and cards like Arcane Missiles, again a random damage spread, and Unstable Portal, which was also core in that deck, which is a random minion that costs 3 less. But those cards synergize really well, and this is why they fit together in the same deck, because Flame Waker gets procced by spells, Unstable Portal is a cheap spell, it can win you the game, gives you random damage spread, and so forth. It's like a lot of cards that synergize really well, so you can build a deck in the first place. Arcane Missiles fit really well in the deck because it's very cheap, and it boosts the damage of the missiles together with the Flame Waker up to 5. 5 missiles for 1 mana is extremely strong. With cards like this, Arcane Missiles and Coin and Flame Waker, if you combine them, you have so much damage that you can overcome the RNG. This is what good players always try to do when they build their decks, to make RNG as little of a factor during the game as possible. It's just a lot of damage, but it's not that much RNG involved, but oftentimes you just still see like all your missiles missing the target even though you have a lot. Let's say your opponent is a 2 health target, you have 5 missiles and all of them hit face, or 4 of them hit face, and then you get salty. But yeah, it's still random in the end of the day. It's a small chance that all those missiles will miss, but there's still a chance because it's random. So with the new expansion Karazhan, 3 very strong cards were introduced that buffed the Tempo Mage. Tempo Mage was already playable with Whispers of the Old Gods and in Standard, as I already said, and it was already a pretty decent tier 2 deck. But with cards like Babbling Book, Violent Portal, you could even count Medivh into the deck, and yeah, Kabbalist Tome was already there in Whispers of the Old Gods. The deck got buffed by quite a bit, and when I was playing Ladder in the last 2 days, I faced nothing but Tempo Mages. And as I said, the deck is completely based on RNG, and of course the cards that were introduced are RNG cards. Babbling Book is a 1 mana, 1/1 minion that gives you a random spell in your hand. If you get random cards to your hand, it makes it by default more difficult for your opponent to play around those cards, because both players will not know what you will get in your hand. It's like a random spell from a mage, or a random spell from the game for like Raven Idol for Druid, for example. It covers a too wide range of cards to play around it. because it would also include the bad cards that you would usually not run in your deck. So Babbling Book makes it more consistent that you have something on the board to play on turn 1, and yeah, it's completely random. The next card that was played as Kabbalist Tome was introduced with Whispers of the Gold Gourds. It gives you 3 random mage spells out of the library. It's not out of your deck, it's like out of the mage collection. 3 random spells, so it can be literally anything. You can get another Kabbalist Tome from the Kabbalist Tome, and that happens actually quite often because there's not that many class cards and you get 3 spells. And if you play Kabbalist Tome, get another Kabbalist Tome, play that Kabbalist Tome, and then you get, like, let's say 3 secrets, it's almost impossible to play around every single secret. If someone just if then an opponent plays then 1 secret and then plays another secret the following turn, then you basically have to check every single spell again, because it could again be Vaporize, Ice Block, Ice Barrier, Spellbender, Counterspell, Mirror Entity, just FEG, everything. Another card that was introduced in Standard, which is completely based on RNG. And now we have Violence Portal, which deals 5 damage, but spawns a random 5-drop minion. Another card that is just, yeah, RNG. I had a game today where I played Gorhowl to set up a clear, and my opponent played Violence Portal and then get the Stranglethorn Tiger. And that actually lost me the game because I couldn't attack it, and then he attacked and I had to attack it again. It took like 10 damage from Tiger just because of the and 5 damage from the Violence Portal. It's like another 15 damage, and because it was stealthed, I couldn't kill it, and it matters so much. Also on the first day when I played this deck, I played Violence Portal and I got an Earth Elemental. I mean, everything can happen. It's actually a wide range of cards that can do a lot of things. So another RNG card, and obviously the most beautiful card is Yoxaron, the finisher, that spawns an amount of spells for every spell that you have played this game. And you can imagine with a deck like Tempo Mage, you just cast a lot of spells. Cards like Babbling Book give you random spells which are not even in your deck, and with this deck you draw your deck rather quickly. With the Arcane Intellects, Azudrakes, and Talnos, there's a lot of cards in the deck, but you also get spells which are not from your deck. And from the Babbling Book you can get another Arcane Intellect, for example, or another Kabbalist Tome. And you have your own Kabbalist Tome, you just draw so many spells, you play so many spells, so very often you have like 15 spells for your Yoxaron. And then he does like a lot of things. And if you have 12 and more spells casted in your game, then he has a very high chance, above 80%, that he clears the opponent's board and draws you cards, plays a lot of secrets, but completely clears the board, also including your own Yoxaron. And sometimes when you're lucky, which happens every second time, I would say, that you cast spells like Spirit Wolves or Soul of the Forest, Force of Nature, something that you have on the board. And yeah, that's like the finisher on a deck that is already super RNG heavy. And before Violence Portal and so were introduced, you even played Rag in the deck, which is another RNG card, you can say. It's like 50% chance to, if there's only 1 minion on board, that you hit the minion. But if there's more minions, it's just RNG what you hit. But in a deck like this, you don't care if you hit face. So this is why Rag was played. 8 damage to the face is usually very good, because this deck deals an insane amount of damage. This deck is right now insanely powerful. I would consider it a tier 1 deck, just because every single card in this deck is super strong and they synergize very well together. But it is completely based on RNG. The damage you do, the core damage you do with your core cards like Flamewake is an RNG spread, and the spells you generate are also random with Babbling Book and Kabbalist Tome. And yeah, Violence Portal, you spawn a random minion as well, and your finisher Yoxaron is random. And do you guys think it is okay to have a deck like this being this powerful in the game? Because yeah, it is super RNG heavy, and it makes it very difficult to play against it. And like, it can have unlimited value is what I call with the Kabbalist Tome. You get more Kabbalist Tome. You play 2 Kabbalist Tome in the deck, so the chance is actually pretty high that you get a third Kabbalist Tome. But you have also a chance from the Babbling Books to get Kabbalist Tomes. So there's a lot of spells, a lot of randomness involved, and it's extremely powerful. Do you guys think it's okay Is it okay that Blizzard is pushing especially Mage in towards the direction of complete RNG and chaos? But it is not just the bad RNG, it is too strong RNG, which we had in the past with cards like Dr. Boom. Dr. Boom was just the strongest minion in the game for the 7 mana slot, just raw stat wise, but it had on top of it an insanely powerful RNG effect with the boom bots that can explode for up to 4 damage. And yeah, it's kind of a similar point where, yeah, you don't care what if you play the Dr. Boom, you don't care for how much damage the boom bots explode. If it would be really bad if you would be relying on the boom bots to deal 4 damage. But if it does 4 damage, it can just win you the game. So it's an RNG effect included, you can just simply win you the game. And it's the same with cards like Yogg-Saron. I think, in my opinion, Yogg-Saron is the biggest problem in the game, together with Tusker Totemic. I think Tusker Totemic is probably worse because it happens so much earlier in the game. And if you play him on curve, there's almost no deck that can deal with Tusker Totemic RNG. Even if you just go turn 2, Taunt Totem into Tusker and you get a Mana Tide, it's so hard for any deck to remove it, but you didn't really invest anything to get this Mana Tide, so it's extremely powerful up to when 2 pro players play against each other, that it can just simply carry and win you the game. And yeah, the second most problematic card is definitely Yogg-Saron, because it is the most played win condition card, late game card in the game right now in the professional scene. In the last preliminaries, no other druid version was played than Yogg-Saron druids. No other version was played, and Yogg-Saron is completely RNG. I don't even think that Blizzard themselves thought this card would be viable. I'm pretty sure they just thought, oh man, this is just gonna be some fun card, nobody's gonna play. But it is absolutely insane, it is broken, because the main reason why it is broken is because there's a lot of cards like, let's say, Assassinate, Betrayal, that only work on the opponent's minion, like negative spells that only work on the opponent's minion, like Deadly Shot, you know, removals. And a lot of positive spells, like secrets, that only go benefit yourself. Every single secret in the game, which is a lot, Hunter secrets, Paladin secrets, Mage secrets, they only benefit you, and card draw. There's a lot of card draw that also only benefits you. So the average is that this card is just super good. What do you guys think about Blizzard making a deck like this even stronger, like pushing a deck that is based on RNG to a level where it is tier 1, it plays a completely based on RNG late game card? And do you guys like it? Maybe you guys just think it's cool, it's not that broken, the game design is fine, it's fun to play, against, because yeah, I don't want to think so much. I want to just, you know, be surprised by what he has. Maybe sometimes he gets unlucky, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, and see you guys in the next video. Peace out.